if y'all want to beat a traffic ticket, you can beat almost all of them if you knew the MUTCD.
Welcome everybody. We're going to be talking to a really exciting guest today, Stephen Harmon, AKA the Traffic Light Doctor. So welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. It's great being here, that's for sure.
We want to hear everything about sort of your experience and sort of, how you got into the traffic industry as a whole, first of all.
So I'm going to take you all the way back to my childhood, No. It was funny, it all started out really not liking the job I had before, working as a joiner at Ingalls Shipbuilding, building Navy vessels, Coast Guard vessels there on the coast, and then just found this company that was offering help with getting your CDLs. I wanted my CDL, and then was thinking of maybe doing trucking afterwards, and well before making any kind of social media videos. I didn't think I was going to last long, didn't think I was going to stay long. Quickly got my CDL because that was my main intentions. But then just found a good group of people, a good company to work for, and they were passionate about the systems we were doing. They were passionate about the line of work we were in. So it was very easy, and everybody in this industry is very passionate about it. So if you talk to people, you yourself too, you can just tell people had passion in this, where it's not a passion for dollars, it's a passion for safety and road work and trying to improve the industry, where it was very easy to just get passionate about the same line of work and everything, where I went from grinding my teeth building Navy vessels where you feel like you would be making a difference to actually where now I see the difference being made into people whenever with my work and now even with the social media stuff and hopefully influencing other people to want to get into the same line of work or blue collar work in general.
Did you have a lot of mentors that helped you through that in the beginning, or was it a lot of just cutting your teeth and just figuring it out yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So I do love, just getting out there. Sometimes I have to figure out new things about myself and everything. But there is definitely a bunch of people that I'd want to just thank, the pals that I work for, all of them, they've definitely brought me up. They were all in the field, so there's no disconnect from they're in the office now, no disconnect from them, but they knew how it was and they were relatable to me and showing me these systems. And then whenever I had to surpass the knowledge that they just had, it was more people with Temple. Max Woods is a big inspiration to me. Almost like I've never met somebody and haven't met him in person, but over the phone that just cares so much. He'll pick up the phone at 2 a.m. and I'll learn something from it. And then I just knew the knowledge he had that when we figured out solutions to the issues I was having, that I couldn't just let him go off the phone off of that. I had to be like, all right, well, tell me why. Tell me why this happened. He had the same amount of field experience. He's done this in the office. He's done the factory work. He's done it all to where he can educate me further into the systems where I can learn as much knowledge as I have now and keep on learning. He still teaches me stuff now. So that guy's a big inspiration to me and a big help for sure. And I owe him a lot. I need to go get him something and go to Decatur and meet him up there and get him something nice, for sure.
It's an interesting thing. I think this community itself of traffic really is one that wants to educate the next generation and really sort of impart their knowledge and sort of, give back. I think there's a lot of, everybody thinks of it as a job, but it's kind of like, it is one of those jobs that when you complete something, you are making it safer for your community. And that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, and you definitely go into these areas like Jackson, Mississippi, where their infrastructure is not being pushed in the way that I would like to see it, but the community around there is so heartfelt. They want to see those improvements and they care so much, where they've seen nothing but the negative sides. And then when we come in and work, I've had ladies crying to me saying, I was ready to leave, but you came here and these people, I see all this improvements y'all are doing here now, and it's making me want to stay. It's making me proud of Jackson, Mississippi again, which is just something you don't get to see often. And a lot of career paths you take, you don't get that instant gratification, that's the perfect word for it, out of the community and out of people that you get to help out on a daily basis, and you're improving their lives and trying to make it a safer place for them. You talk to other people where they're scared to have their kids to walk to school and stuff, and it's like we can improve that. We can make it safer for everybody, and let's get back to a world where we're not scared to send our kids to walk to school across the street. We're not scared to walk across the street. It's almost like a world against pedestrians at times too, where you feel it's just not safe enough. And the more we can expose these systems, how they work, and say, yes, it can be frustrating at times. I understand getting held up at red lights at 2 a.m. when no other cars are there. It's frustrating, but it's all for the safety purpose. And if we can get these systems here, if they can talk to their local politicians to integrate better systems, keep all this stuff more efficient, the safer all this can be. As sometimes I'll explain it like it's a battle versus efficiency and safety, but the more efficient we make these systems, the safer they'll be as well.
You do such a fascinating and great way of explaining the technology in layman's terms to people. What do you think, if you could educate the public and there's a couple of things from what you've done before, what are the things that you really actually want people to learn about traffic signals and understand that makes it better for them driving as the public?
Yeah. So one thing where I think I do relate to a lot of people is my background's not like a school background. I'm not an engineer. I didn't go to college for all of this. It's all like hands-on field experience, and somebody had to dumb it down enough for me to understand whenever I was new into it, to where now I can, I know all of the stuff or some of the terminology, still get it incorrect every now and again, but whatever, everybody will. If you talk to a camera constantly, you'll end up, having some mishaps every now and again. But I was brought up that way to where, and that's the majority of the country is like over half the population doesn't have a degree. My father grew up, he's probably the first one in his family to graduate high school, maybe the first one to graduate middle school, or go past middle school in education. It doesn't mean they're stupid people, but it means, they don't know those technical terms, and just make it make sense to them, and they all have that understanding, and then they can, relate to the system itself. And the more I can try to just explain it to people of maybe how I was 5, 6, 7 years ago, the more they'll understand and be like, okay, I understand the system. I'm understanding more and more about it. And I don't just drive past them now and get upset about a traffic light or ignore them. I get so many people that are like, I'm stopping here. And now I'm just like, when I'm sitting at a red light, I'm looking around at the cameras. I'm looking around at all this extra stuff because I'm seeing your videos, and it's like, I'm not even bored sitting at a red light anymore. I'm interested in it all. And like that right there really helps out too. It's like people aren't as upset coming up to that red light anymore because they get to look more into it, a little more into what it was when it used to be a mystery box on the side of the road.
How did you get into TikTok, YouTube, Facebook? What inspired you in the beginning to really, put on a camera and record yourself?
Yeah, so we've always had like a little work Snapchat group. One of my bosses is great at the video stuff when he's like making little clips and stuff on Snapchat. I wish he would post some videos and stuff online too. I just and the education behind it. I was like, the general public, everybody would like to see the same stuff. And I'm sure there's a lot of extra people out there that relate to it. So make a couple clips and, hit some misses throughout the way. And then I just definitely dove into the educational type content for it. And then I'm like, all right, people are interested and people do want to see this. And I've always had a bit of a creativity aspect of where I like making the content and making videos. Way back in the day when I was younger, I'd play video games and would like to try to commentate over that and publish those. Deleted all that stuff. Y'all don't try to search for those videos. I mean, I may have been 14, 12, whatever it was at that time. So I was already pretty interested in it. And YouTube, I've always been super interested in, and just seeing where it's grown from like 2009, I want to say, to where it is now, and how it's really changing the world and allowing people to connect with each other is fascinating to me. And I've always already had like an itch for it. And now it's just a great way to slap a GoPro on my forehead and work and have the viewers work with me or do whatever. When I'm really into it, I'll be posting all sorts of stuff. I'll be eating food and doing food reviews or something then too. It's just, I love the creativity of it and just sharing the content.
And you've created a community, specifically in in YouTube, where you said it's pretty heartfelt, hearing comments coming back and seeing people sort of genuinely be interested in traffic, but also like blue collar work and that whole engagement with that audience. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great, really, because I see so many people that are like stuck in a desk job or something, and they're like, man, I really wish, I watch your videos, and this is just something, especially in my younger days, I wish I could have done this. And then I got even more and more of the younger generation when they watch, they're like, I just, I've been struggling to even find a job, but they're looking at all the wrong places. Because construction work, there's always open availabilities for work. I mean, we're begging for people to come work and actually, care about the work they do. So hopefully when they see my videos, and I try to care as much as I can, because there's bad contractors and people that don't do the best work that I would like to see. But I try to set the example and show hey, maybe we're just digging a ditch today, but give a shit about digging that ditch and care about it.
Do the work properly.
Yeah, do the work properly, and you can also have fun while doing it. It doesn't mean just because it's out here and it's 110 degrees and we all got swamp ass and, the whole 9 yards, it doesn't mean we can't have a good day. We're always, chit-chatting back and forth. Workers, we're always having fun. Got to edit out a lot of the stuff most of the time, but, it's still very enjoyable being out there and working. And I see a lot of people that are almost trapped in a cubicle that are like, I wish I could do this. And it's never too late. Get out here and do it. Yeah.
What's your advice to those guys? If they want to do something similar, there's a whole group of people wanting to train them as well.
Yeah.
There's this community out there. And as you said, traffic's very much this whole group that really does want to teach people all the time. What's your recommendation if someone's in Texas or wherever they are? How do they go about doing that? Or local to you, how do they go about doing that?
How I always liked it is, and I get this question all the time where people is like, how do I get into this line of work? And I try to briefly answer it, but I've never had a full video on it. Probably something I got to make. But my recommendation would be to really start out with a contractor. There's contractors in every state, and they travel. And just because you may not be in their specific city, if you're close by, they'd probably hire still and then train you as well. And you get to see the base level of what it takes to build these systems and to do the job. And will you venture off out of traffic industry? Possibly, but it is a small industry, and you quickly start meeting other people, and those people are very open to passing down their knowledge. There's nobody in this industry that's like, I want to hold all my knowledge because it's worth something to me. It's they're all just trying to give it away as much as they can because, they don't want to see the mess ups that can be messed up. And it's people that can really mess up these systems and the dangerous side of them. At the end of the day, everything in that controller cabinet is just colorblind. So we need proper training for people to not make those mistakes and these systems get set up right so that everybody on the road's driving and having a safer commute. And they can definitely get into this line of work. I'd recommend start out with a contractor, work your way, and maybe if you want to go into the city line of work, go into the city line of work. But just understand what it takes to build the systems, and then maybe branch off and maybe get a job with applied information, or get a job with the factories and the bigger companies that are in the industry. But I truly believe if everybody was to get out there and work in the 110 degree heat, digging ditches together, the conversations would be a lot different than what we see in the world today.
You talked about safety. What are some of the craziest things that you've seen working out there on the safety side that you kind of and I mean cars driving and all sorts of weird things happening all the time?
So people that watch the videos know that we're definitely more of a rugged. We're South Mississippi out of and work in Mississippi. We're a little bit more rugged out there than everywhere where you'd see a lot of safety guidelines. Some things I probably shouldn't just say, what I've done, and that's experience too. And I mean, everybody has to learn, and you're going to have mess ups, and you're going to do something that's maybe not safe. But as long as you learn from that lesson and say, not going to do that way, you know, do it that way again. Then, and if nobody gets hurt, then, you know, build off of that. And it's a great lesson to be learned. But overall, just, I mean, there's so many people. I've had people drive into our lane closures and drive into our trucks. We've had people, it's a lot of the commuters on the road, where I just believe if we integrate more systems to those drivers, it could be a safer place for everybody, especially the worker. Yeah, I'd love to get more examples on.
What do you mean the safety into the drivers?
So kind of like, and y'all are going to see a video come out soon, but like the app y'all are working on, where more advanced warning, and not just for red lights ahead, but for construction zones ahead, for pedestrians ahead, and just giving more and more, and hopefully that gets integrated with, I know it's already with Waze, but like Google Maps, Apple Maps, what everybody uses, where it's not even like a thought process to them. It's like, oh, I'm being alerted, and I know to pay attention to the road, because there's more distractions on the road than ever. Everybody's on their cell phone, and like I want to preach against it, but I just know it ain't gonna work. They're gonna do it, you know. Then
people always pick up their phone and they're answering a text, whatever it is, and then
it's not even
accidents happen. It's distracted. It's like, I mean, they equate you picking up a cell phone to being worse than being a drunk driver.
Yeah, at times.
And people don't realize that.
And even the people that pay attention to the roads, there's so many more distractions on the side of the roads and stuff now. I mean, look at every vape store now that just has flashing
and
lights
advertising
and billboards you're reading and everything. It's like we're really getting away from the safety aspect of driving and keeping your eyes on the road, where at least if one of those distractions is saying, hey, please look up, please, you know, there's something going on.
Something warning you that there is, because no one wants to hit someone.
No.
Not intentionally. It's the same thing in like a school zone. No one wants to hit a kid.
Yeah.
Just like if I'm driving in Louisiana or Mississippi, I don't know the roads. I'm new there. And now I'm looking around, and the GPS is telling me to go left or right. I forget, and I don't see that I'm in a school zone. I'm driving too fast because I'm in a school zone, but I don't know it.
Yeah, everybody makes mistakes. It happens all the time. I did it the other day. I was driving, had to go pick up some stuff at the farm over just further away, and I'm driving through a school zone. The last time I went, they were building the school. Didn't even think about it. I'm driving 50 down a school zone that's 25, and then I notice everybody else slowing down, and that's whenever I'm like, oh crap, I'm in the school zone. But accidents happen. It's never intentional. I don't think anybody's out there, and if there is, it's such a slim amount of people that are out there actually trying to be intentionally dangerous. But everybody's out there just wanting to have a safe commute and not hurt anybody else.
It's just raising that awareness.
Yes.
Now, the other thing you did when you were driving in that Tesla is autonomous driving.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I do like it. It seems super convenient. I want to see more of the infrastructure being built maybe around that to where it feels safer on the road. But I don't want to also be like forcing regulations, because if we integrate infrastructure for that, I feel like we're going to have to force the general public to kind of go to that as well. But on things like driving on the highways, where I really liked how if you look down at your phone, the car immediately was like, hey, if you don't look up here in the next 10 seconds, you know, I'm pulling over to the side of the road. So it's not fully autonomous. You can't take a nap while driving, which is preferred. And I think we need the infrastructure around the autonomous driving if we do want like sleeping in the car while driving and clicking it.
The car only drives as well as the infrastructure is built around it. In other words, if you don't do lane markings, the car doesn't know where the lanes are, just as a human doesn't know where the lanes are. It'll do an approximation, just like a human's going to do an approximation.
Yeah.
If you don't put up speed signs, or if your speed signs aren't legible, guess what? The car can't read it either. So it's actually the basics of the safety, but people have got to have that mindset that it is really important that if a tree is growing in front of a speed sign or a safety sign, cut that tree down. It is critical. It is critical for safety. Safety is built around layers.
Yep.
And there are multiple layers of safety. There's the technology that we've been talking about, we're running around, and the technology that you work on. But just as important of that is actually the roadway design and how vehicles are fed onto the roadway, fed onto the freeway.
Yep.
All of those kinds of things are critical, and you've got to build a safer roadway system. You got to build all of those in, because then you got to have multiple mistakes happening at the same time for an accident to happen.
Yeah, and maintenance is a huge key on this stuff. Like, if y'all want to beat a traffic ticket, you can beat almost all of them if you knew the MUTCD, if you knew the regulations on a public highway, and you know that the improper signage, the signage is not reflectable enough, the stuff's not being properly maintained.
The distance from the signage, all of the. So, can you explain what MUTCD is?
It is the traffic signal or the traffic industry Bible for the most part. It shows everything in the U.S. that's regulated to be in the roadways. Not sure what all countries actually go to it. I just know the U.S. is very hard on it. Unless you are in a private parking lot, you have to follow these guidelines. And pretty much our whole system of, if you run a stop sign and you get a ticket for that, well, could you see that stop sign? Could you see it at night? Is it reflective enough? Was there obstructions on it? It's all in the book to say what's mandatory and required on that, and some suggestions that can improve but not required. But those requirements have to be in place and they have to be maintained. And it's something that more cities need to put more money into, because the budget for maintaining traffic signals or maintaining roadway infrastructure.
A lot of cities don't see traffic as a critical thing, and they don't see it as an area that they can get reelected.
Yeah.
So they don't spend enough time doing that. But in my mind, I think traffic's one of the most important, because every single person has got to drive through traffic the whole time.
Yep.
And if you can make it 10% improvement,
Yeah.
that changes people's lives, literally. I mean, they are able to get to work earlier, they're safer, because roughly 1 in 90 people die on the roadways.
Yeah, and and it's crazy they can't run off of something like this, because I know people have been in accidents. Everybody knows people that have been in accidents and maybe even killed while in these accidents. And it's so easy to say, hey, one of our crucial systems that we have, and where we're seeing a huge percent of fatalities on, we can improve. I feel like it would be easy to get a voter on that saying, look, guys, it's going to cost a little bit of money, but let's put traffic infrastructure first. I mean, go through a lot of these cities and just point out some of the ridiculous stuff they're doing. And you would think traffic lights might be expensive, but that big painting on the wall that they somehow put $1 million to is like, you don't know how far that money could go to make improving these roads and making it safer. Instead, you're doing a distraction almost, because you're making people look away from the road and see these other things on the side of the roads.
What would you recommend, we're talking about the safety, like for a city, what do you recommend to actually go about trying to look at investing their money into? What are the sort of the simple things they should do, first of all, to make the roads safer and make traffic work better?
Yeah, so I really believe that the first step would be jumping back into the maintenance side. Let's improve our stop signs. Let's improve our roadway systems. If a roundabout's like the most preferred way to go in certain areas, which there is, areas where it's better than like a traffic light system, maybe implement stuff like that. Do the traffic lights, maintain those again. If LEDs are out, you need to get that stuff fixed. Like, the driver's only going to care as much as the city's going to care. And reckless drivers are the worst in places where everything's falling apart. Go to Jackson, Mississippi, and you got people speeding around all the time, but they got potholes in the road. They got to improve all the steps to make people care about driving again and the safety behind it. And then, technology is advancing so much quicker these days with the traffic light systems than it ever has. And then we can start talking about trying to implement, let's fix all the problems on the road first, and then let's start implementing this new technology like the glance system y'all have and different things. And again, the funding for that, there's grant systems, there's so much funding that can improve the tech side on it. But let's not just do the tech, let's do the maintenance as well and fix the torn down areas that need to be fixed.
Kind of like get back to basics. Yeah. First, you can't improve anything if we're not maintaining the signals. Yeah. So explain to everybody what's involved in the maintenance, because there's the LEDs, there's detection, there's all of these different things that are involved at making a traffic light work. Like, what actually needs to be maintained? A lot of people don't realize why the traffic light isn't working for them, why it's not growing green at 2 a.m. in the morning and there's no one else around.
Yeah.
What is that reason?
So vehicle detection, it can be expensive up front, but it is probably the second most important system at the traffic light system is picking up vehicles and pedestrians. Obviously, your signalization is the most important, is what you need to maintain. If you got an indication out and the system doesn't go into flash for that, just because one's working, but it's 3 lanes down and all these other lights are dark while I'm traveling under them, you got to get all the LEDs fixed, get it where it's right in front of the people's face. If you notice issues, let's improve those. And then detection is a very important system to have in there, just so you don't catch those red lights at 2 a.m. or when you're pulling up to a side street at 2 a.m. and nobody is on the main travel lanes, that it cycles to you right away. If they get impatient, they're going to just not care about the red light anymore, and they're going to run it.
So the first step is maintain everything, and then think about technology that can improve it, because then you can start eking out those improvements that someone's going to get a 10% improvement. But first, maintain everything, so the safety aspect is the most critical part. Then you can start looking at upgrading the technology to make sure that everything actually is optimized and works better.
Yeah. And we all drive around here too. We all drive. Everybody in the traffic signal industry, they're all driving. So if it upsets one of us when we're coming through red lights at 2 a.m. and we shouldn't be hitting a red light, it upsets everybody. And even we get impatient at times, and we're like, I know how the system works. This is a damn shame that I'm sitting here right now. Then we know, like, the average driver, the mother that's trying to get her kids to school in a timely manner, or maybe they're running behind and they're just real impatient, and they don't understand, like, hey, I see nobody coming right now. Maybe I can make it across this red light. And
there's a safety,
most of the time, yes, but
there's a safety aspect at night as well. You know, like if you're a single woman driving in a car late at night and there's a red light and there's nobody else around there, and you're in a dangerous area, you're not going to stay stopped there.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you're going to go. You're going to go. So it's like, if the detection system isn't working and it's not picking you up, because the traffic light should go green within 7 seconds of you stopping at that stop bar. It should go green if it's programmed correctly.
If everything's working great and you got further back detection, you should almost be rolling to that stop, or that stop bar, and almost never stop if you have nobody on the main line stretch and have a green light and be able to go through that traffic light. The more people have to sit and wait, the more it influences dangerous driving activities at traffic intersections. And it is the most dangerous area on the road is a traffic intersection, roundabout, traffic lights, stop signs, just people trying to turn left on a highway or something like that. It is the most dangerous thing you're going to experience while driving, is right there at an intersection. So let's make those as safe as possible.
Any advice on that side to the general person in terms of what they should be thinking about doing differently? You know, I mean, obviously you can't teach people patience and things like that, but, you know, them knowing how a traffic light's actually going to detect them, does that help?
Yeah, for sure, because one, patience is a huge key. I wish we could implement that into more people, just saying, hey, it's going to turn green. You're going to get the light. It's going to work out. But then there's safer options. If you do have a troubled area, a troubled traffic light that you're coming to that's red, that left turn is very dangerous going across. Just everywhere has places to do U-turns. It may add 20 seconds to your commute, and I know everybody hates that. But if your safest option is to take that right-hand turn, go down the road a quarter mile or 1,000 feet, and then make a U-turn and go the direction you need to go, do that. Just make the safer options and not put yourself at risk.
Yeah, I mean, the statistics are insane. There's 42,000 people killed on the United States roads every single year, and that number is trending up at the moment. And, you know, as you said, there's a lot more distracted driving. There's probably less time and money spent on driver training these days than in the past.
Yeah, you can ask anybody, how easy was it to get your driver's license? I mean, I know whenever I got mine when I was like 15 or 16, all we did was drive straight, turn around, and come back. There was no training involved in that. That written test is nonsense. It's like, do you know what a stop sign looks at? And it's a big sign that says stop.
Multiple choice.
That's it. It's multiple choice and real easy. Why not have a class and instructors actually teach people to drive? Like when you get a motorcycle license, you have to go be pretty proficient on a motorcycle, because they just know you're the thing that's probably going to get killed on the road, because it's you versus 3,000-pound vehicles all day long, and you just got to entrust that people aren't going to drive into you. So they make you pretty efficient and aware of what you're doing on the road in a motorcycle driving course versus people that are getting in these 3,000, 6,000 pound vehicles. They're handing out driver's license like it's candy, you know? They just want more people to buy the stuff, I guess, and they really need to implement the safety side and the education behind what people are driving, because as a child, you don't understand that the decisions you make or your driving habits can impact yourself and so many more people on the road.
That's the thing, is it impacts everybody else on the road, and I think that's a key aspect behind it. We've got to do something about, getting those numbers down again, and I think a lot of it is the infrastructure. A lot of it's education.
Yeah.
I wish there were more campaigns to people about putting your phone down.
Yeah.
In other words, it can wait.
Yeah.
It can wait.
It very much can.
Very much. You do not have to respond back, or use the technology in your phone. Hey Siri, send a response, or Google, or whatever it is. Reply in those fashions, because when you do pick up your phone, you know it. Everybody knows it. You're looking down there and you're distracted.
Yeah.
And that's just, if we can educate people and just tell them, how important it is to put their phones down. And also, it's in education, I think this is a bit more of a political thing, which is, how do we get people that are learning to drive to get more intensive lessons and actually get taught? I mean, my wife is from the Netherlands, and she always tells me, when she did her driver training, she had to do 40 hours with an instructor who took them on all the roadways, taught them everything, and then taught them how to enter a highway.
Right.
They had to do a skid pan test. They had to go in a skid pan and teach them how to control their car when their back kicks out and all the rest. So like a whole nother level. So the driver becomes so much better. But that's a harder one to implement. I think we do need to do a lot more marketing to these people to stop them.
And it should start really in like the public. I mean, we're all taxpayers. It should go to the public schools, because I don't know about you, but driver's education was like an option in high school for me. That should be mandatory, right? Like that should be the way you get your driver's license or your permit. Do the written test, get your permit in that class, and then, like you said, have an amount of credible hours behind the wheel, and then get your driver's license. That would be the great way to put more knowledge and instill that into the children and actually get them ready for the roadway, because a lot of them, again, it's just too easy to get
I believe they've cut a lot of those programs. So in Georgia, for instance, they used to have a program like that, where you could do all the driver training straight through school, and they cut those programs. So you're kind of going, well, why are the roadway deaths going up and up? Because people aren't thinking about roadway safety. You're more likely to die on the roads than you are flying anywhere, running anywhere, doing it on roadways in your car is probably one of the most dangerous places. As I said, about 1 in 90 people killed in their lifetime.
And as a
on
voter,
a roadway.
And as a voter, you should definitely be looking into the people that care about these systems, because it's not even, if your driving practices, no matter how safe you are, it's only as good as the other people on the road as well. If you got some drunk driver, I mean, it's hard to do anything about that too. Hopefully enforcement, gets those people before they hurt anybody. But distracted driving on the phone and things like that, no matter how safe you are, you're just hoping everybody else on the road is as safe as you are as well, because that's where it really comes down to how many people lose their life. How many videos have you seen where there's a drunk driver that's hit people? The drunk driver's fine, but he just killed a family of 3.
Or like people in trucks that shouldn't have licenses, like the one in Florida that does a U-turn on a highway. And
there's more examples than just him doing that stuff, and it's just crazy. And even the commercial driver's license, they just implemented where you do got to do more training for that. But to get your commercial license should be, yes, for sure, it should be more difficult to get your driver's license. I don't want to say it should be more difficult, but there should be more know-how and knowledge and education
it's a professional driver.
And
but technically, we all should be professional drivers. Because we're all driving a vehicle that's 5,000 pounds, driving down these roadways, and it's a big vehicle to stop that thing, and it's dangerous.
And I truly believe it should be more in the public school systems. They should be learning and implementing those systems now when the kids are young, because your brain, when you're younger, is just able to absorb all this stuff, and you'll never believe what you'll if you just have a hard, concrete understanding of how you should be driving when you're young, that how far that will go in your life.
And at the same time, the tax money, like US DOT, they should be spending more money on those kinds of messages going out to people.
Yeah.
In other words, and local government and all the rest should have a program behind that to get people off their phones and to consider safety as an important thing.
That's why I always try to bring it back to the voters and the people that are in these communities. Vote locally, and don't just watch the campaign ads, because the campaign ads are just bought out by so many different people. If somebody looks so good on TV, do more investigation into him and investigate the opponents and actually learn who you're voting for, not just because you've seen it on an advertisement that somebody else said something bad or whatever. Actually start understanding who these people are, and then elect the proper officials into it that will actually care about these systems or care about the general public and want to put that money, the taxpayer money, because it's all your money, our hard-earned money and everything that we got to put back into it. And when we see it go to places where we don't believe it should be going, it really impacts us personally. And then, but when we do see traffic lights being upgraded or roadway infrastructure is being upgraded and it impacts us, we felt like our vote actually mattered. And when you vote locally and you find the right person that's going to put that money into the right places that affect you on a daily basis, like, that's the real change I wanted to see. Yeah.
Now let's switch gears a little. Let's talk YouTube and kind of, what you've done to date, how you've created this audience and grown it. How did you do that?
Yeah, so again, I truly believe like the audience out there, there's normal people like me and you, and I've done it before in my life where I've idolized the wrong person because I see them on TV and I'm like, oh, I like this person, but they're actors. So much of it's just actors, and I'm like, don't follow the actors, follow your neighbor. And when I make content, make the videos, I'm trying to be like your coworker, I'm trying to be like your neighbor. I'm like, hey man, maybe we don't agree on everything, but we can understand each other, or I can be relatable. Heck, we're all out here in 110 degrees. It's hot as hell right now. We're cold as hell right now. But we still got a job to get done. And most of the public, that's what they're doing. They're out here working and trying to do their best every day. And I'm trying to do my best. And then I publish that online. And I just think it was relatable to a lot of people, where it made it easy for a community to be built around that. And I love it now because a lot of people in the comments, they'll question and ask me things where I don't even have to respond anymore. My longtime viewers, shout out like Joe Vet, there's a guy on YouTube, him, Kyle, there's a good handful of them that will just respond and do like a better explanation than me. Maybe they'll give them the more technical side where obviously in a video, if I get too in-depth into the technical side, people are like, wow, it's above my head. I don't want to watch this anymore. But the comment section's really helpful when the other people also then interact with others and say, hey, welcome to the page, man, and welcome for being here. And here's your question. Here's the explanation of this. Hey, here's a video that he created actually that answers your question. And so many people will do that. They'll watch a couple and they'll be like, I had no idea you were doing this. I had no idea you were, and I love the work you're doing. I'm following and I'm watching every video now and going back, and I just see it on old. I can they'll comment on one video and then keep commenting on the next one. I just know they're watching all the videos, and I'm like, thank you, man. One, that helps me and hopefully inspires people and yourself and whoever else at the end of the day. So once people got on board, and it's still growing obviously and continues to grow, the community almost helps build it up too. So
where do you see the channel in a year, 2 years, 3 years? Is there where do you want to move this to, and so on?
Yeah, I really need to sit down and think of a 5-year plan and maybe have where my aspirations are going. But I love inspiring people to get into this work, and I would love to get with other contractors and come film and do video production, because I know right now, I'm a foreman too, so I got to answer all my guys' questions. I got to get them lined out, get them working. Videos is almost the last priority on the day. Makes it easy because I got a GoPro on my head and I can click a button and it records stuff, but it's not the top priority. Getting my job done and getting it done right, making sure everybody's able to get their hours, get paid, and do the right work, that all comes first. So, but I'd love to be getting with other people, focal more on the content creation, and then it almost will influence more people to get into this line of work, and maybe even say, hey, you know, I'm local in this area. I didn't see you in Texas or New York or wherever you go to, and we just work a couple days with a contractor, and I show them the work, and I'm like, hey, if you're interested in this, right here, kind of like micro and dirty jobs, you know, inspiring people to come do this, saying you don't have to go get that college degree. There's plenty of money to be made in this industry. Get your hands dirty. It's a good lifestyle, and it's fun too, and it's rewarding too. Like, no offense to anybody, I guess, sitting at an office all day, but it's just hard to see the reward in it. And even when I was building Navy vessels, where you feel like that should matter, the people around me just didn't make it feel like it mattered at all. But then you get into different industries and you get into different places and venture out, you know, jump around to places, and it just takes one person to inspire you, and hopefully I do it on the videos, to get out there and do the quality of work and really get invested in it. And I'd love to see that go further, where we can build a community, and a lot of people are now getting more into blue collar work as well. Still going to be a little bit of a mystery of where it goes 100%. I'd never been one to have like a scheduled upload and like schedule my next 10 videos and have them ready to release. It's like, we showed up
whatever
to work
happens.
today. Yeah.
Whatever happens. And I mean, you know, some of your most successful videos are the weird things that happen, you know, the crazy things when police rock up and things like that, and crazy Karens come in and complain.
A lot of work can definitely be dangerous. Yes, it's good for videos, but it also shows that side of the world and everything, because there's so many people out there that just want to like hide their mess ups, hide their mistakes, or hide this and that, wouldn't want to show it. Well, I'm just like, heck, you know, put it out there. Yeah, you know, these people got T-boned. Could there have been better traffic control? Yeah, it wasn't on me to handle that, or maybe it was on me, and we could, and we can find areas to improve, and I can use my content to even get more knowledge from these other people that have stricter traffic control methods and different things like that can comment on there. Hey, you know, we've started implementing this system. Why don't you do the same? And I've taken the advice plenty of times, even, you know, work-wise, tools, different things like that, where people are like, just a comment too, where I'm reading it, where people will offer advice, and I'm like, yeah, that's so smart. I don't know why I didn't think of that. And then I can implement that and then show it in the video. So, you know, I'm still learning. Everybody's still learning, and hopefully this can push more knowledge onto people. And maybe one day, if videos and everything's out here, we can start limiting more of the workplace accidents. But in my head, I believe you're always going to have inexperience come in, people come in, and accidents are going to happen. So let's just improve on when they do happen. You know, you got to have the examples to improve on.
It's not about getting to vision zero that no accidents are going to happen. An accident inherently is an accident. It's something that you didn't predict happening, and you're never going to get to that zero number. But what you can do is reduce the numbers. And all you can do is do the best you can at implementing the things that you talk about, maintenance and all the rest, the basics, to make the road safer. And if you do that, you will reduce the number of accidents.
Yeah.
It's just, it's
for sure, especially in like construction zones, or just overall. And I mean, there was plenty of stuff at Ingalls whenever I worked at the shipyard, where they took like electric grinders away from us because people were getting hurt so bad with them. And like, why take them away instead of having a training class to show how to properly use them? You know, and they did, you know, really push on safety and try to get everything there at that place as well. But they didn't make it real relatable. They put a piece of paper in front of you, and blue collar workers, we're not good with a piece of paper in front of us, like trying to pay attention. Most of us are, you know, all jacked up on caffeine, a little bit of ADHD, and we're out there just wanting to move and physically get stuff done. That's the kind of education we need, is, you know, show us the examples, put us in those situations, and then say, here's how we can improve. And that's what I'm trying to do too on the safety aspect. Like, here's my mess ups. Can't talk about all of them. Maybe one day I'll talk about all of them. But I've learned from them. Thankfully, nobody's been hurt. There's been times where I'm like, I should be dead right now, or whatever. But instead, I'm not. But it all works out in the end. And, you know, karma's a big thing. Or,
Yeah.
you know, you
Do the right
do
thing.
the right thing. So, and don't be scared to show, and don't be scared to have a little humiliation and say, hey, I messed up. I need to find ways to improve, or I need to show my example of me messing up. And here's where we
Everyone's
can
human.
improve.
Everyone's human, and you know, I always try to tell my kids, you know, be nice to others. Others will be nice to you. Do the right thing, and the right thing's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
You know, all those. It's basic concepts. And talking about family, tell us a little bit more about you. You know, and your family, and you know where you grew up, and so on.
Well, growing up was my dad. He was Air Force. He grew up in like Bristol, Tennessee, backwoods in the city-ish area. If anybody that's ever been to Bristol and go into certain areas, you'd know what I'm talking about. He was one where it's like real poor family growing up and had traditional values the whole time. Come from nothing, joined the military, joined the Air Force, and then had 2 kids before me too, which with my mother, obviously my brother and sister, and then had me, and I was born in Delaware, and we just traveled whenever I was a younger age until we ended up staying in Biloxi, Mississippi for a couple of years, and then moved to Ocean Springs, and pretty much grew up there. My dad had an option, I think, where it was, hey, if you want to retire, you can retire now, or go overseas, and we're putting you there. And he wanted to go, he was ready. But my mother was very much pushed back against that, and there was a little bit of pushback on it where it's like, hey, retire, get this government employed job with the Air Force still, and you're still doing what you want to do, but we can stay here and we can raise this family. And he chose that option, which I believe was the right one too, and raised us up there. And now I'm trying to do the same too. I got 2 beautiful girls, and they are bossiest little things ever. Some people see them on the channel every now and again. There's a lot of strangers out in the world, so I don't always just want to have their face everywhere on the videos. But you know, they're precious to me, and I do like to share that with everybody as well. And just doing my best to raise them right, which can be a struggle at times. Obviously, every parent would know, and until you're a parent, you won't know. You just got to pray to have patience almost. You just got to keep praying to just build more and more patience.
It's difficult. It's a difficult thing. If anyone knows how to rile up your feelings and things like that, it's your direct family. They know exactly what to do.
Picture living with somebody that is almost like a polar opposite of you and doesn't want to listen to you ever. That's just children. But that's the children mind, because they're just, everything is a playground to them, and they're go-getters and stuff like that.
And they never want to listen to mom or dad. They will listen to someone else, but not mom or dad.
Yeah, I hate bringing that little stern voice out, thanking me and like telling me like, you got to calm down right now. It can be a struggle at times, but hopefully doing it right and hopefully raising my children properly. And I'm hoping they're going to have proper values and morals and everything when they grow up.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for being on the podcast with us, Stephen.
Yes,
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So great having you here at this lab.
Yeah.
And
love being here. It's been a fantastic experience and everything, for sure.
And I can't wait to see more of your videos and see sort of how you keep on growing the channel.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating to watch and see how people are so excited about traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, which you'd never think of too, you know, going back, like I see the comments all the time too where people were like, and I'd never once cared, you know, about this, never once even thought about it, but you're putting it in terms that I understand, and this is real interesting to me. And more than just the traffic side, I want to see it just throughout life, and you know, even more and more stuff we do on the channels, hopefully some travel stuff, different things that we can do where hopefully just through my experiences can brighten up somebody else's day as well. And I've seen that before in the sections where people are talking about that. And I try my best never to look at the negative comments, because I feel the moment I get into that and look at it, if I read theirs, I'm taken away from everybody that gives a damn. And
it's such
not fair to me.
a small percentage.
Sure.
But it really is. It grieves on you.
Yeah, especially, and look, I'm an easy person to get along with, and I have, you know, I'm not afraid to say I messed up or whatever. I don't think too highly of myself. Heck, I'm usually a person that can't even talk about myself usually, because it just makes me almost like nervous or awkward. And I'm like, nah, I want to be more interested in other people I already know who I am, but I do need to be better at putting that out there of who I am. And but I try my best not to let those negative people even get to me. Sometimes they can, but then if I make a response to it in a video, people like that too at times. So it can be funny at times, and it's a bit unfiltered on the channel at times as well, but I like leaving it in there. But I do make mistakes myself, and sometimes I can be too hard on a person that maybe they actually had real criticism and everything. So I don't want to be, I don't want to push anybody away because maybe that just turns them all the way off of everything I'm doing. And I'm like, look, man, just come on back. I didn't mean to really upset you or anything like that. I mean, you may have been intentionally trying to upset me, but we can meet in the middle. And I mean, we all probably like burgers at the end of the day. Let's go get a burger and talk about it or something,
Burger and a beer, man. Next time we'll have some beers down here between us when we do another one.
For sure. I think more conversations. Let's get back to being relatable with each other so we see each other as actual people, and then conversations can happen a lot easier.
Yeah. Epic. Well, it was fantastic, Stephen.
Yes, sir,
Appreciate it, man.